Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I want to speak to you about the art of letting go, the peace that comes from relaxing, and the trust that allows the universe to bring forth exactly what belongs to you. Too often we hold so tightly to our desires that we strangle them, we worry, we analyze, we force, and in doing so we delay the very thing we long for. But when you learn how to let go, when you surrender your anxious grasp and move into quiet trust, you enter into a flow where life delivers its gifts with ease. You must understand that the universe is not against you. It is for you. It seeks to fulfill the imaginal seeds you plant within yourself. But like a farmer, you must sow, and then you must rest. The harvest does not come through constant digging and checking. It comes through faith, through patience, through an inner knowing that what you have planted is already yours. Now let me share with you 10 steps that will show you how to let go, relax, and trust the universe with all your heart. And accept that the work is already done. Ladies and gentlemen, hear me carefully. The first step to true transformation, the first step to manifesting anything you desire, is to accept deeply, firmly, unshakably that the work is already done. When you imagine, when you desire, when you feel something with conviction in your inner world, you have already planted the seed of creation. The outer world is slow to catch up, but the inner world is instant. What you hold in consciousness, what you accept as true in the unseen, is already finished. This is why the greatest act of faith is not to struggle for results, but to live from the end as though it were already complete. Think of a seed in the soil. When a farmer plants corn, he does not wake the next morning and dig it up to see if the seed is working. He does not panic or cry because the stalk has not yet appeared. No, he trusts the process. He knows the seed is alive. He accepts the fact that the harvest is guaranteed. His only work is to plant and then to let the soil and the sun do what they must. So too with you. The moment you imagine your desire fulfilled, the moment you live in that invisible state of having, it is as if you have already planted the seed in the soil of the universe. You do not need to make it grow by effort. You do not need to struggle, to beg, to plead. You need only accept that the work is done and rest in that knowledge. But this is where many of you stumble. You look at your present circumstances and you say, it is not here. I cannot see. I cannot touch it. And you let doubt take root. Doubt digs up the seed. Fear withholds the rain. Anxiety blocks the harvest. My friends, do not undo with your unbelief what you have already done with your faith. The unseen is more real than the seen. The inner world precedes the outer world. Every invention, every discovery, every building, every empire began as a thought, a vision, an unseen picture in the mind of one who dared to accept it as already real. You must learn to accept that what you imagine is already accomplished. Close your eyes and picture the life you desire. See yourself already there. Feel the joy of completion. Do not say, I hope this happens. Do not say one day it will come. No. Say within yourself, it is done. It is mine. I already am. This is the language of faith. This is the posture of acceptance. When you rise from your inner vision, you must carry yourself as one who already possesses the thing. If you desire health, then walk as though health is yours now. If you desire abundance, speak as one who is abundant. If you desire love, act as one who is already deeply loved. By doing this, you align yourself with the finished work. Let me give you an example. Imagine you ordered a package from a store. You paid for it. You receive a confirmation. Do you then sit in fear, wondering if the package will ever come? Do you write desperate letters to the store begging them to send it? No. You rest in the assurance that what you ordered is already yours. The delivery may take a day, a week, or a month, but you do not waver. You know it will arrive because you already accepted it as complete when you placed the order. Your desires work the same way. The moment you create within, the order is placed. The universe has confirmed it. The only question is, will you wait in calm assurance, or will you sabotage the process by doubting, by worrying, by giving up? Faith is not straining. Faith is resting. Faith is standing in the quiet conviction that what you desire is already done. And when you stand in that conviction, you move differently. Your words change. Your energy shifts. Opportunities come that match your new state of being. Listen carefully. You are never waiting on the universe. The universe is waiting on you. The moment you truly accept that the work is done, the outer will rearrange itself to reflect the inner. But if you live in the contradiction of two states, if you say with your lips, I believe, but in your heart you cry, it is not here, then you remain divided, and a divided house cannot stand. Wholeness comes when your inner conviction matches your outer behavior. You must accept without hesitation that your desire exists now. Do not confuse acceptance with laziness. Acceptance is not sitting idly by. Acceptance is alignment. Acceptance is living in harmony with the reality you have already claimed. It is the difference between struggling upstream and flowing with the current. The one who accepts is not idle. He is purposeful, but he moves with ease because he knows the end is already secure. Think of an actor rehearsing a role. Before the curtain rises, he has already accepted within himself that he is the character. He does not wait until the audience applauds to feel it. He embodies it now, in rehearsal, long before the public sees it. And because he accepts it inwardly, the audience eventually believes it outwardly. So it must be with you. You must rehearse your life inwardly. Accept your desire inwardly. Live it inwardly, until the outer world simply mirrors what you have already accepted as true. Let me challenge you tonight. Stop asking, when will it come? That is the language of one who does not believe it is already done. Begin instead to say, thank you that it is already mine. Thank you that it is complete. Thank you that I already am. Gratitude is the seal of acceptance. When you are thankful before the evidence appears, you demonstrate that you have already accepted it as finished. Now do not be discouraged if the outer world takes time. Remember the farmer. Between planting and harvest, there is always a season of wait. But the waiting is not empty. It is full of life unseen. The seed is already alive. The roots are growing in the dark. The stalk is preparing to break the soil. You may not see it, but the work is done. Trust this process. Many give up too soon. They plant, they wait a little, then they cry, it did not work, and they abandon their dream. But the one who accepts never gives up, for he knows the outcome is certain. His only task is to live in the calm assurance of fulfillment. So I say to you tonight, accept that the work is already done. Do not beg, do not chase, do not doubt. Stand in the knowing, stand in the conviction, stand in the joy of completion. The world will catch up. The outer will bow to the inner. Creation is finished. Your only duty is to accept it, believe it, and rest in it. When you learn to accept in this way, you will discover a peace that no circumstance can shake. You will not be moved by appearances. You will not be swayed by delay, for you will know with certainty that your desire is already accomplished, and nothing can stop it from becoming visible. So tonight decide this, plant the seed in imagination, accept that it is done, and rest in the joy of fulfillment. The harvest is guaranteed. The universe never fails. 2. Release the need to control timing. My friends, the second step in learning how to let go, relax and trust the universe is perhaps one of the most challenging, yet the most liberating. You must release the need to control timing. How often have you set your heart upon something, imagined it, prayed for it, declared it, only to feel anxiety gnawing at your soul because it did not arrive in the hour you demanded? How often have you looked at the clock, the calendar, the days and months slipping by and thought to yourself, where is it? Why has it not come? This obsession with timing is one of the greatest thieves of peace. It is one of the greatest destroyers of faith. For in trying to dictate the moment of fulfillment, you step out of trust and into fear. You say with your lips, I believe, but in your heart, you whisper, I do not believe it unless it comes now. And so you live in contradiction. Timing is not your responsibility. Timing belongs to the unseen order of life. The universe knows the perfect season for every harvest. The oak tree does not grow in a day. The rose does not bloom the moment you plant it. The child does not arrive the day after conception. Everything in creation has its rhythm, its perfect cycle, its appointed time. The impatience of man does not accelerate the process. It only produces frustration, bitterness, and despair. But the one who understands that the seed has been planted, the one who trusts that growth is inevitable, learns to rest and to wait without fear. Hear me. Your role is not to dictate when. Your role is to accept that it is done. Once you accept, you live as if it were already yours. The when is irrelevant, because in the unseen it already exists. The outer will reveal it in the season that is best, the moment that aligns with the greatest unfolding of your life. Consider the story of a woman who plants a garden. She sows her seeds in spring. Now imagine she sits in the soil and demands, I must see flowers tomorrow. Would you not laugh at her impatience? Would you not say, wait, my friend, the seed needs time. The earth is at work, though you do not see it. The rain and the sun are working on your behalf. So it is with you. Do not cry for instant blossoms. Do not curse the soil because the seed has not sprouted in a day. Trust that unseen forces are working in your favor, arranging circumstances, preparing people, aligning opportunities that you could not have orchestrated yourself. When you force timing, you shrink the possibilities. You demand that life deliver in one narrow way, at one narrow moment, and you blind yourself to the greater miracle that may be unfolding just beyond your sight. But when you let go of timing, you allow the universe to surprise you. You allow life to bring the answer in ways more beautiful, more perfect, more fitting than anything you could have calculated. Think of water flowing down a mountain. If you try to control its course with your bare hands, you will only become exhausted. But if you let it flow, it will carve its own path, finding the smoothest and most natural route. So too does fulfillment flow when you do not try to hold it in your grip. Now listen carefully. Letting go of timing does not mean giving up. It does not mean passivity. It does not mean saying, perhaps it will never come. No, it means living from the end with certainty, with gratitude, with peace, while leaving the hour of its manifestation to the wisdom of life. You must come to a place where you can say, it is already mine. Whether I see it today, tomorrow, or next year is irrelevant, because I know it exists now in the unseen. This is maturity of faith. This is the strength of one who trusts. Ask yourself this: if you truly believed your desire was already fulfilled, would you be in a rush? Would you panic at the passing days? No, you would rest. You would walk calmly. You would live joyfully, knowing the outcome is certain. Impatience is the fruit of doubt. Patience is the fruit of assurance. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine two men who both plant apple trees. The first man, impatient, checks the soil every morning, grows angry when no sprout appears, and finally gives up, digging up the seed in frustration. The second man, patient, waters the ground, trusts the cycle, and waits in peace. Months later, the tree blossoms, and he enjoys the fruit. The difference between them is not in the seed, it is in the attitude toward timing. One destroyed the process through impatience, the other received the reward through trust. Do not ruin your harvest by demanding it before its season. Do not uproot your blessing through restlessness. Hold to the vision, live in the end, and allow the universe to determine the hour of its unveiling. Some of you are in the waiting season right now. You have planted the seed, you have accepted the work as done, but your eyes search the horizon, and your heart grows weary. I say to you, hold, rest in peace. Release your grip on the calendar. Stop counting the days. Stop demanding a deadline. Trust that in the perfect moment, your desire will appear, and it will be right on time. Remember this truth: delay is not denial. What seems like delay is often protection, preparation, alignment. The universe knows what you cannot see. If it came too soon, you might not be ready. If it came too early, you might mishandle it. If it arrived outside of its perfect season, it would not bear the fruit it is meant to bring. There is wisdom in the unseen time. There is perfection in the unseen order. Release your need to control it. Now I ask you, how do you release this need? By shifting your focus. Do not stare at the clock. Do not obsess over the calendar. Instead, return again and again to the end. Feel it real. Live it real. Each time impatience rises, close your eyes and remind yourself, it is already done. Replace the question, when will it come, with the declaration, thank you that it is already mine. Gratitude dissolves impatience. Gratitude lifts you above time. For the thankful heart knows it already possesses what it desires. And when you live in gratitude, you stop waiting. You begin living. And ironically, it is often when you stop waiting that the thing appears. So my friends, release the need to control timing. Trust the unseen order. Believe that the work is already complete. Do not dig up the seed. Do not rush the harvest. Rest in peace and let the universe surprise you with the beauty of perfect timing. For when it comes, you will say, it could not have come a day earlier or a day later. It came at the perfect moment. Therefore, live today, not as one who waits in fear, but as one who knows the outcome is certain. Release timing. Trust the flow, and you will discover that life delivers not only what you asked for, but far more, in ways beyond your imagination. 3. Rest in the feeling of fulfillment. My friends, step 3 is this: rest in the feeling of fulfillment. What does this mean? It means that instead of chasing after your desire, instead of living as one who lacks, instead of standing outside the door of your blessing, you step inside, sit down, and rest as one who already has it. This is the art of living from the end. To rest in the feeling of fulfillment is to take possession inwardly before you see possession outwardly. It is to feel the joy of already having what you seek, to taste the sweetness of completion, to walk in the satisfaction of it is done, even if your senses scream that it is not yet here. Let me tell you this. The world is always responding to the state you occupy within. If you live in the state of lack, the world mirrors lack. If you live in the state of waiting, the world keeps you waiting. But when you rest in the feeling of fulfillment, the world rises to meet you in that state. Resting does not mean laziness. Resting does not mean sitting idly doing nothing. Resting means dropping the struggle, the striving, the begging, the fear. Resting means living in calm assurance, knowing that the seed you planted in imagination has already taken root and must bear fruit. Let me illustrate. Imagine a bride preparing for her wedding. The invitations are sent, the date is set, the dress is chosen. Does she wake in fear every morning saying, "What if the wedding does not happen? What if the day never comes?" No, she rests in the certainty of it. She prepares with joy, not with anxiety. She walks with assurance, because in her heart, the event is already real. So too must you prepare for your desire. If you wish for abundance, do not live as one in poverty. Rest in the feeling of being abundant already. If you wish for health, do not dwell on sickness. Rest in the feeling of being vibrant, strong, and whole. If you wish for love, do not lament loneliness. Rest in the feeling of being cherished, adored, embraced. And here lies the key. The feeling is the secret doorway. When you feel the end is real, you rest. You no longer reach or grasp. You no longer wonder if it will come. You know it has come. And your body, your words, your choices, all begin to align with that knowing. Now some of you may ask, but how can I rest when I do not yet see it? And I answer, because the inner world is more real than the outer. The outer is only a delayed reflection of the inner. If you can hold the feeling within, the outer must bow to it. Think of a mirror. If you smile into it, the reflection smiles back. But if you stand before the mirror and say, "I will not smile until the reflection smiles first," you will wait forever. The reflection only responds. So too does life respond to the feeling you rest in. Let me give you a practice. Tonight when you lie down to sleep, close your eyes and imagine your desire fulfilled. Not as something far away, not as something to be reached, but as something here and now. Feel the relief, feel the joy, feel the calm satisfaction. Let that feeling carry you into sleep, as though you are drifting into rest inside your fulfilled dream. Do this, and you will plant the feeling deep in the subconscious, where it begins to shape your waking reality. Resting in fulfillment also means letting go of desperation. Desperation is the voice that cries, "I must have this, or I cannot be happy." But rest says, "I am already whole. I am already complete. I am already in possession of the thing I desire." And it is this calm, this ease, that draws the outer world into harmony with your inner conviction. Do you see the difference? The one who chases pushes the dream further away. The one who rests invites it closer. The one who grasps affirms lack. The one who rests affirms abundance. Some of you are tired because you have been running after your desire. You wake with worry. You go to sleep with fear. And still you ask, why has it not come? Tonight I say to you, stop running. Sit down inwardly. Rest in the finished work. Live as if you already are the one you long to be. Walk with the quiet dignity of possession. Speak with the calm assurance of ownership. Smile with the joy of one who has already received. And you will find something miraculous. When you rest, things begin to flow to you. Doors open without effort. People appear at the right time. Opportunities unfold naturally. You are no longer pushing against life. Life is carrying you. Think of the river, the one who thrashes, who struggles, who fights the current, exhausts himself and makes little progress. But the one who rests upon the water, who trusts the current to carry him, moves with grace and ease. Resting in fulfillment is the same. It is surrendering the struggle and allowing life to carry you to the place you already occupy inwardly. Now I must warn you, your senses will tempt you. They will shout, "Look around. It is not here. The evidence is lacking." But remember this truth. Appearances are shadows. The substance is within. Do not abandon your inner rest for the noise of the outer. Stand firm in the feeling of fulfillment, and the outer must eventually conform. Let me offer another example. Imagine you receive a letter confirming that you have inherited a fortune. the money will take 30 days to be transferred into your account. Do you spend those 30 days weeping and begging? When will it come? Will it ever arrive? No, you rest in the certainty of it. You walk with a different posture. You plan your life differently, because even before the outer evidence appears, the inheritance is already yours. So it is with your desire. The moment you claim it within, the inheritance is confirmed. Rest in that confirmation. Stop worrying about how, when, or through whom it will come. Simply rest in the feeling of already having it. My friends, resting in fulfillment is not only a practice of faith, it is a practice of joy. For when you rest, you stop postponing happiness. Too many say, I will be happy when I receive it, I will rejoice when it arrives. But rest says, I am happy now, for it is already mine. And in that joy, you accelerate the unfolding. So tonight, let this be your step. Cease striving, cease waiting, cease yawning, step into the end, feel it done. Rest there, as if you were lying in the arms of a fulfilled dream, and as you rest, life itself will rise to prove your faith true. Rest in the feeling of fulfillment, and you will discover that the very thing you once chased is already within you, already yours, already alive. 4. Trust the unseen path. My friends, the fourth step in this journey is one that requires courage, humility, and faith. You must trust the unseen path. This is the step that challenges the logical mind. This is the step that asks you to walk forward, even when you cannot see the ground beneath your feet. This is the step that demands you trust a greater intelligence at work in your life, guiding you, arranging the details, aligning circumstances in ways your eyes cannot yet perceive. Too often you stand still because you cannot see the full picture. You say, I do not know how it will happen. I do not know the way. I cannot see the road ahead. And in that moment of doubt, you hesitate. You cling to what is familiar, even if it no longer serves you, because the unknown feels unsafe. But let me remind you, every breakthrough, every miracle, every great transformation begins with stepping into the unseen. You do not need to know how. You do not need to see the whole map. You only need to take the next step with trust. Think of a man walking through fog. He cannot see the entire path ahead, but with each step he takes, the fog lifts just enough to reveal the next stone. If he refuses to move until the entire road is clear, he will remain where he is forever. But if he trusts and takes one step at a time, soon he will find himself on solid ground, guided all the way by what he could not see in the beginning. So it is with your life. The universe never shows you the whole staircase at once. It reveals the step before you, then the next, and the next. Your task is not to demand the full plan. Your task is to trust the unseen path and move forward with faith. You must learn to let go of the need to control every detail. Control is an illusion, and clinging to it breeds fear. Trust says, I do not need to know every turn of the road, because I know the destination is secure. Let me give you an example. Imagine you are driving at night on a country road. Your headlights shine only a short distance ahead, perhaps 100 feet. You cannot see the whole journey, but you do not panic. You know that as you continue to drive, the road will keep revealing itself. In the same way, your inner vision has already shown you the destination. Trust that as you move, life will unfold the path, little by little until you arrive. Now, some of you are afraid because the path you are on does not look the way you expected. You imagined one route, but life has led you another way. You say to yourself, this cannot be right. This is not what I planned. Yet often the very detour you resist is the exact road that will lead you to fulfillment. The unseen path is wiser than your plans. It weaves together connections, events, and opportunities you could never have orchestrated on your own. What you call coincidence is the unseen path aligning your steps. What you call delay is often protection. What you call confusion is the rearrangement of pieces beyond your understanding. Do not fight the unseen path. Do not curse it because it does not look like what you imagined. Trust, for the unseen knows what the seen does not. The unseen has already prepared the perfect way, even if it appears hidden to you now. Consider the seed once more. When you plant it in the ground, you cannot see what is happening beneath the soil. Days pass, and still nothing appears. But beneath the surface, the seed is splitting open, roots are forming, life is stirring. The unseen work is the most important work. If you judge only by what your eyes can see, you will say, nothing is happening. But if you trust the unseen, you will know that everything is happening. This is why faith is essential. Faith is not believing when the evidence is clear. Faith is believing when the evidence is invisible. Faith is walking the unseen path with confidence, knowing that the ground will appear beneath your feet. Now let me ask you, are you willing to trust the unseen? Are you willing to let go of the how and when and through whom, and simply walk in the certainty that the path is unfolding perfectly? If you are, then peace will replace anxiety. Confidence will replace doubt, and your life will move with a rhythm and flow you never imagined. There is a freedom that comes when you trust the unseen path. You no longer waste your energy trying to figure out every detail. You no longer torment yourself with questions of timing. You no longer force doors that are not meant to open. Instead, you move with grace, open to surprises, ready to embrace what comes, knowing it is all part of the design. Think of water flowing down a mountain stream. It does not stop and argue about which way to turn. It trusts the slope of the earth to guide it, winding around rocks, slipping past obstacles, always finding its way to the ocean. So too must you flow with trust, knowing that the unseen path is leading you exactly where you need to be. Some of you have already experienced this. Think back to moments when life surprised you, when doors opened unexpectedly, when you met someone by chance who changed everything, when a sudden change of plans brought a greater blessing than you had ever imagined. That was the unseen path at work, and if it worked then, it can work now. Release your need to know every detail. Trust the unseen, for what is hidden today will be revealed tomorrow. What seems uncertain today will become clear in hindsight. One day you will look back and say, every step, even the ones I did not understand, was perfect. So tonight I urge you, walk by trust, not by sight. Hold to your vision, yes. Live in the end, yes. But do not demand to see every step. Let the unseen carry you. Let the unseen guide you. Let the unseen surprise you with beauty beyond your imagination. For when you learn to trust the unseen path, you will discover that life is not against you, but for you. You will realize that nothing is random, nothing wasted, nothing meaningless. Every step is leading you to the fulfillment already alive within you. So trust. Trust the silence. Trust the waiting. Trust the detours. Trust the strange turns and unexpected encounters. Trust the unseen path, and you will arrive at the place you were always meant to be. 5. Stop talking about lack. My friends, the 5th step is one that seems simple, yet it is one of the most powerful disciplines you will ever practice. Stop talking about lack. Why is this so important? Because your words are the evidence of your inner state. Your speech is the mirror of your belief. The words you speak daily are not idle. They carry the vibration of your faith, and they either move you closer to your desire or further away from it. Listen carefully. You cannot speak of lack and expect abundance. You cannot complain of sickness and expect health. You cannot tell stories of loneliness and expect love, for the tongue reveals the heart, and what fills the heart flows into life. So many people sabotage themselves, not because they do not imagine, not because they do not desire, but because their words betray them. They pray in secret, but then in conversation they speak doubt. They affirm in silence, but then in public they complain. They declare abundance in meditation, but in daily life they talk endlessly about bills, debts, and fear. Do you see the contradiction? Do you see how this cancels the inner work? To stop talking about lack means to discipline yourself, to speak only from the end, to speak only as one who already possesses what you desire. When someone asks you how you are, do not give them a report of your problems. Give them a vision of your wholeness. Speak not of what you fear, but of what you know is already yours. Now I am not asking you to lie. I am asking you to choose your focus. For truth is not only what your eyes see in this moment. Truth is also what you hold in imagination. What you know is already finished within. And when you choose to speak from that truth, you give life to it. Consider this. If you continually speak of your pain, your mind rehearses it, your body responds to it, and your reality magnifies. But if you speak of your healing, even while the pain lingers, you lift your mind, you change your focus, and you begin to attract the reality of health. Words are seeds. Every complaint you utter is a seed of lack, planted in the soil of your subconscious. Every fearful phrase is a seed of delay. But every word of gratitude, every declaration of abundance, every sentence that speaks from the end, is a seed of fulfillment. Which garden do you wish to plant? Many of you do not realize how much your casual words are shaping your life. You complain about traffic, about bills, about work, about the weather, about your body, about your relationships. Every word carries energy. Every word multiplies after its kind. And then you wonder why your life continues to reflect the same struggles. Stop feeding lack with your tongue. Stop rehearsing your limitations. Stop telling the story of what is wrong. Instead, tell the story of what is right. Speak the language of fulfillment, even before you see it. Say, I am blessed, I am provided for, I am strong, I am loved, I am whole. And though your outer world may not yet reflect these words, your inner world will align with them. And the outer must eventually follow. Think of the man who constantly says, nothing ever works out for me. Is it any surprise that life continues to prove him right? His words shape his perception shapes his choices shape his life. But imagine if he began to say, things always work in my favor. Life always opens doors for me. His mind would shift, his energy would shift, and soon his reality would bend to match his declaration. This is not empty positive thinking. This is alignment. This is the law of life responding to the vibration of your word. For when you speak from the state of fulfillment, you anchor yourself in that reality. And what is anchored within must express itself without. Let me give you a challenge. For the next 7 days, listen carefully to your own speech. Become aware of every word you say about your life. When you catch yourself complaining, stop. When you hear yourself speaking lack, replace it. Declare the opposite, even if it feels strange at first. Train your tongue to agree with your vision, not your fears. You may be surprised to discover how often you speak against yourself. But awareness is the first step to change. As you discipline your speech, you discipline your state. And as you discipline your state, you change your life. Some of you may ask, but what if my circumstances are truly difficult? Am I supposed to ignore them? No, my friend. I am asking you not to feed them. You already know the facts of your situation. Repeating them over and over does nothing but strengthen their grip. Shift your focus. Speak of where you are going, not where you have been. Speak of what you desire, not of what you fear. There is power in the tongue, power to heal, power to create, power to align you with the reality you have claimed within. Do not underestimate it. The world itself was spoken into existence. Your world, too, is shaped by your speech. So stop talking about lack. Stop repeating the language of limitation. Start speaking from the end, as one who already has what they desire. Let your words be filled with gratitude, with confidence, with joy. Let them carry the vibration of fulfillment, and you will see a change, not only in your outer circumstances, but in yourself. You will feel stronger, lighter, freer. You will walk with more confidence. You will attract people who match your energy. You will find doors opening where before there were only one. For life is always listening. Your words are commands to the universe. When you say, I am poor, I am sick, I am alone, life echoes back. As you say, so it is. But when you say, I am rich, I am healthy, I am loved, life responds in kind, bringing you the evidence of your declaration. So tonight, decide this. No more talk of lack, no more rehearsing problems, no more giving life to what you do not want. From this day forward, let your words align with your desire. Let your speech match your vision. Speak from the end, and the end will reveal itself. My friends, your words are powerful. Use them with wisdom. Use them with intention. Use them to build the life you have already claimed within. For when your speech is in harmony with your vision, nothing can stop the fulfillment of your desire. Stop talking about lack, and you will stop living in lack. Speak from fulfillment, and fulfillment will be your life. 6. Surrender the outcome. My friends, step 6 is one that challenges the very core of human control. It is the step that requires the greatest trust, the deepest faith, and the boldest courage. It is the step of surrendering the outcome. You see, many can imagine, many can affirm, many can hold a vision in mind. But when it comes to releasing it, when it comes to letting go of how, when, or through whom it will unfold, this is where they stumble. They grip tightly. They demand certainty. They insist on seeing immediate results. And in that tension, they choke the very life out of their desire. To surrender does not mean to give up. To surrender does not mean to abandon your dream. To surrender means to release the clinging, the fear, the anxious need to control every detail. It means to trust the unseen process, to rest in the assurance that what you have accepted within is already on its way without. Think of a seed. When you plant it in the soil, do you dig it up every hour to see if it is growing? Do you demand that it sprout within the next 5 minutes? You trust the process. You cover it, you water it, you give it sunlight, and you rest, knowing that life is at work beneath the surface. You do not panic because you cannot see the roots forming. You trust the law of growth. So it is with your desire. Once you have imagined it, once you have accepted it within, you must release it. You must let go of the constant questioning. When will it happen? How will it happen? Who will bring it? These questions reveal doubt. They show that you are still looking to the outer world for confirmation, when the only confirmation you need is the inner acceptance. The moment you truly accept your desire as already fulfilled, you no longer worry about the timing. You no longer demand evidence. You walk in peace, knowing that what you have sown must bear fruit. Surrender is the quiet confidence that says, it is done. And here is the paradox. The more you cling, the more you delay, the more you obsess, the more you resist. For obsession is rooted in fear, and fear is resistance to fulfillment. But when you surrender, when you release the outcome into the hands of life itself, doors open naturally, paths align, the very people and circumstances required are drawn to you effortlessly. There is a flow to life, and when you stop forcing, you begin to flow with it. When you stop demanding, you allow it to move freely. When you surrender, you align yourself with the rhythm of creation. Think of the river. It does not strain, yet it carves valleys. It does not rush, yet it reaches the sea. It moves with ease, and in its ease there is unstoppable power. So too must you move in ease, trusting that the vision you have embraced will be carried to its natural fulfillment without your anxious interference. Do you know why many people do not experience their desires? Not because they are unworthy, not because the vision is impossible, but because they cannot release control. They say, it must come this way through this person, at this time. And when life attempts to bring it in another way, they resist, and so they block the blessing that was already theirs. Let me tell you, the universe is far more intelligent than your limited plans. The paths available are greater than you can imagine. The ways it can unfold are infinite. But when you insist on your own rigid method, you close yourself off to the miracle. You must let go of the how and trust the inevitability of the what. Surrender is not weakness. Surrender is strength. It is the strength of knowing that your inner work is complete, that your vision is alive, that the law is faithful. It is the strength of resting in peace while others panic. It is the strength of saying, I need not force, for it is already mine. Now hear me. Surrender does not mean inaction. It does not mean passivity. It means aligned action. It means that when life presents you with opportunities, you move boldly, without hesitation, because you know these are the steps that carry you to the fulfillment you already possess within. When you surrender, you release the tension of waiting. You stop checking the clock. You stop analyzing the calendar. You stop comparing yourself to others. Instead, you rest in faith. And faith is not idle. Faith walks with confidence. Faith speaks with assurance. Faith acts as though the end is already secured. Let me give you a picture. Imagine a sculptor who has already seen the finished form within the block of stone. As he begins his work, he does not panic about whether the figure will emerge. He already sees it in his mind. He trusts the process. With each strike of the chisel, he is simply revealing what already exists within. He is not anxious. He is not hurried. He is certain. That is surrender. You must do the same. See the end so vividly within that you no longer need to force the out. Hold it so firmly in imagination that you can release the outcome to life itself. Let it come in its own perfect way, in its own perfect time. Do not measure by appearances. Do not despair if nothing seems to be happening. The seed is growing in the dark. The roots are forming beneath the soil. The unseen is always at work before the seen emerges. Trust it. Rest in it. That is surrender. And here is the beauty. When you surrender, peace replaces anxiety. Joy replaces fear. Gratitude replaces doubt. You begin to live as though it is already done. And in that living, you align with fulfillment. So tonight I ask you, what desire have you been clinging to? What vision have you been obsessing over? What outcome have you been demanding, controlling, forcing? Release it now. Say within yourself, it is done. I release it. I trust the process. And then walk in peace, knowing that what you have accepted cannot fail to manifest. My friends, surrender is the secret to effortless living. It is the bridge between inner creation and outer manifestation. When you stop fighting, life begins to flow. When you stop clinging, blessings begin to unfold. When you surrender the outcome, you allow the miracle to come in ways you could never have planned. So rest tonight. Rest knowing that what you have imagined is already yours. Rest knowing that the unseen hand of life is moving all things for your good. Rest knowing that you need not force, you need only trust. Surrender the outcome and watch how swiftly, how beautifully, how perfectly life delivers the very thing you once thought was so far away. 7. Live in gratitude before it arrives. My friends, if there is one secret that transforms waiting into joy, longing into fulfillment, and desire into manifestation, it is this: gratitude. Step 7 is to live in gratitude before the gift has even arrived. Most people live the opposite way. They say, when I receive what I want, then I will be thankful. They wait for the physical evidence before they give thanks. But that is not the way of creation. That is not the way of faith. Gratitude must come before. Thanksgiving must come in advance. You must give thanks while it is still invisible, while it is still unseen, while it exists only in the realm of imagination. Why? Because gratitude is the language of completion. Gratitude is the vibration of fulfillment. When you say thank you, you are declaring, it is done. You are affirming, I have received. You are proclaiming, I am already living in the reality of my desire. Think about this. When someone hands you a gift, you do not wait to open it before saying thank you. You thank them the moment it touches your hand because you already know it is yours. In the same way, you must thank life itself the moment you receive your desire in imagination, not when it appears in the outer world. Gratitude is the sign that you believe you already have it. Gratitude before the fact is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It is the evidence of faith. It is the anchor of trust. It is the energy that magnetizes the unseen into form. Consider this. A grateful heart is never in lack. A grateful mind is never anxious. A grateful spirit is never empty. For gratitude sees abundance where others see absence. Gratitude declares, I already have what I asked for, and therefore I cannot worry about its arrival. The ungrateful heart says, I'll be happy when. But the grateful heart says, I am happy now, for it is already mine. And in that happiness, in that vibration of fullness, the outer world rushes to match the inner state. So I ask you, what do you desire? A new home. Begin to give thanks now as though you are already living within its walls. Walk in gratitude through its hallways in your imagination. Say thank you for every room, every detail, every comfort. Gratitude transforms the unseen into the felt reality of now. Do you desire love? Then begin to live in gratitude for that love today. Feel the joy of companionship now. Say thank you for the laughter you share, the conversations you hold, the comfort you feel. Do not wait for a person to appear before you are thankful. Be thankful now, and the person will come as naturally as breath. Do you desire wealth? Begin to give thanks for your abundance before it arrives. Say thank you for the freedom, the opportunities, the generosity it allows you. Walk in gratitude now, and you will find doors opening in ways you never imagined. Gratitude is not a polite response. Gratitude is a spiritual force. Gratitude shifts your entire state of being. It takes you out of lack and places you in fullness. It transforms you from a seeker into a receiver. It makes you magnetic to the very things you desire. And let me say this. Gratitude is not a fleeting thought. It is a way of living. It is not a momentary thank you. It is a constant posture of the heart. It is the practice of waking each morning with joy. Not because everything you ask for is already in sight, but because you know it is already yours in truth. Gratitude changes your perspective. When you are grateful, you stop looking for what is missing and begin to see what is already present. You begin to realize how richly blessed you are, and that realization multiplies your blessings. For whatever you are grateful for expands. Whatever you give thanks for increases. Gratitude is the soil in which every desire flourishes. Think of a farmer who plants his seeds. He does not stand over the soil with doubt. He does not curse the ground for not producing immediately. He gives thanks for the harvest before it appears. He prepares his barn. He speaks of the crops as though they are already on their way, and because of his faith, the harvest surely comes. Gratitude is the preparation. Gratitude is the declaration that the harvest is certain. Now let us go deeper. Gratitude not only attracts your desire, It prepares you to receive it. Many ask for blessings but are unready to hold them. Gratitude enlarges your capacity. It opens your heart. It makes you receptive. It tunes you to the frequency of the very thing you seek. Without gratitude, even if the blessing comes, you may overlook it or dismiss it. But with gratitude, you recognize it instantly and embrace it fully. Let me give you an image. Imagine two people standing under a rainfall. One has a closed fist, tight and resistant. The other has open hands, lifted upward. The same rain falls on both, but only the one with open hands receives it. Gratitude is the open hand. Gratitude is the posture that says, I am ready, I am open, I am receiving. When you live in gratitude, your language changes. You no longer speak of lack, of waiting, of hoping someday. You speak as though it is already yours. Your words become aligned with your vision. Instead of saying, I will have, you say, I give thanks that I have. Instead of saying, one day it will come, you say, it is here now in my reality. Gratitude makes your speech powerful because your speech comes from fulfillment, not from longing. And let us not forget, gratitude is joy. Gratitude is life. Gratitude lifts your spirit, even when appearances remain unchanged. Gratitude allows you to walk with a smile, to rest in peace, to live as though the promise has already been delivered. And in that joy, in that lightness, in that rest, you draw your desire swift. So I ask you tonight, can you live in gratitude now? Can you thank life for the gift while it is still wrapped? Can you celebrate the blessing before it knocks on your door? Can you sing songs of joy for the victory that is already won within you? This is the step that separates the doubter from the believer. The doubter waits for proof. The believer gives thanks before proof. And in that thanksgiving, proof always comes. So live in gratitude now. Walk in it daily. Speak it. Feel it. Express it. Let gratitude be the breath of your life. And watch how swiftly the invisible becomes visible. The unseen becomes seen. The imagined becomes real. My friends, gratitude is not just a practice. Gratitude is the very atmosphere of fulfillment. Enter it now, and you will see that what you once longed for is already here. 8. Act as if it is already done. My friends, tonight we come to a truth so simple, yet so easily overlooked. If you desire to manifest, if you desire to live in the reality of your vision, you must act as if it is already done. Now listen closely, for many confuse this step. Acting as if is not play acting. It is not pretending. It is not mere performance. Acting as if is the embodiment of faith. It is the declaration of your state of being. It is the conscious choice to walk, speak, and live from the place where your desire is already fulfilled. Consider this. When an actor steps upon a stage, they wear the garment of their role. They breathe as the character. They speak as the character. They carry themselves as the character. In those moments, the audience no longer sees the actor. They see the role fully embodied. And so it is with you. You must wear the garment of your fulfilled desire. You must walk in it, think in it, move in it, until the world itself must bow and conform to the state you occupy. If you wish to be prosperous, then act as one who is already prosperous. Not in arrogance, not in waste, but in dignity, in confidence, in freedom. Stand tall as though abundance flows to you without end. Conduct yourself with generosity, with openness, with ease. For when you carry yourself as one who already possesses wealth, life itself rearranges to match that state. If you wish to be loved, then act as one who is already deeply loved. Do not carry yourself in desperation, in waiting, in emptiness. Carry yourself with joy, with confidence, with the warmth of one who knows they are cherished. Speak with kindness, give with openness, live as though your cup is already overflowing. For love answers to love, and it will find its reflection in you. If you wish to be healed, then act as one who is already whole. Do not walk in weakness, in fear, in constant complaint. Walk in strength, in vitality, in the assurance of wholeness. Carry your body as though health is already coursing through it. Speak of your life as though you're already renewed. When you live from the state of wholeness, wholeness expresses itself through you. You see, the key is not waiting for the outer change before you act. The key is acting now, in this very moment, as though it is already real. For the truth is this, the outer world is but a shadow. It is the echo of your inner state. To wait for the shadow to change before you shift within is to wait in vain. But to embody the inner state now, to act as if it is done, is to command the shadow to follow. Let me remind you This is not about forcing or pretending. This is about identity. Who are you choosing to be? The one who is still waiting, or the one who already is? If you act as the one who waits, you will keep waiting. But if you act as the one who is, you will become. Take a moment now and imagine yourself stepping into a new garment. Perhaps you have desired success. Can you feel the garment of success upon your shoulders? Can you feel how it changes the way you walk, the way you stand, the way you meet the world? If you wear it long enough in your imagination, soon it will no longer feel like a garment at all. It will feel like your very skin. And when it becomes natural to you, it must show itself in the world. So how do you act as if? You begin in the small things. You shift the way you speak. You shift the way you hold yourself. You shift the way you make choices. You do not say, when it comes, then I will act. No, you act now. If you desire abundance, do not speak in terms of poverty. If you desire health, do not constantly declare sickness. If you desire love, do not rehearse rejection. Align your words and your actions with the reality you claim. And let me say this, when you act as if, you are not deceiving anyone. You are not faking it. You are creating it. The world calls it pretense, but in truth, it is creation. For every outward action, when aligned with inner vision, pulls the unseen closer into form. You may say, but what if others laugh at me? What if others do not believe? My friends, others cannot live your life. They cannot see the vision planted within you. Let them laugh. Let them doubt. Let them scoff. They will see in time. For when you embody the state, the world must conform. And when it does, those who once mocked will marvel. Acting as if also means aligning your decisions with your fulfilled self. Ask yourself each day, if I were already the person I desire to be, what choice would I make? How would I spend my time? How would I speak? How would I move? And then choose accordingly. Do not wait for evidence. Live the evidence. Be the evidence. Consider a seed planted in the soil. If the gardener acted only on what he sees, he would abandon the field, for nothing is visible yet. But he acts in faith. He waters. He tends. He clears the weeds. He behaves as though the harvest is inevitable. That is acting as if. He does not wait for proof. His actions are the proof. So too must you water your vision. So too must you walk in the certainty of its fulfillment. When you go about your day, hold your head high, not in arrogance, but in quiet assurance. Speak with the authority of one who knows. Make choices that reflect your fulfilled self. Do not rehearse the past. Rehearse the future until it becomes your present. And let me tell you a mystery. When you act as if, you are not waiting for your desire, you are living it. For imagination is the only true reality. The outer world is but its shadow. So the moment you assume the state and live from it, in truth it is already done. The key is persistence. Do not put on the garment for a moment only to remove it when circumstances challenge you. No. Keep it on. Keep walking in it. Keep speaking from it. Keep acting in it. Let it become natural. For when it is natural, it must be visible. Ask yourself right now, what state do I wish to embody? Who do I wish to be? Can I live today, not tomorrow, as though it is already true? If you can, then you have crossed the line from wishing to create. My friends, this is the call of step 8. To act as if it is already done. To live now, in this moment, as the person you desire to be. To embody the vision. To wear the garment. To make the future your present. And as surely as night follows day, the world will mirror back to you the state you have claimed. So let us no longer wait. Let us no longer postpone our joy. Let us no longer stand on the threshold of tomorrow. Let us step into it now. Let us act as if it is already done, because in truth it already is. 9. Release control and surrender. My friends, tonight I want you to hear me with the deepest part of your being. We have spoken of vision, of assumption, of living as though it is already done. But now we must take one of the most important steps on this journey. We must release control. We must surrender. You see, many fail here because they think surrender means giving up. They think it means abandoning the desire, letting it slip from their hands. But that is not surrender. True surrender is the confidence of knowing that what you have assumed, what you have embodied, must unfold. True surrender is trust. It is rest. It is peace. Imagine for a moment that you planted a seed in fertile soil. You place it gently in the ground, you water it, you cover it, but then, out of anxiety, you dig it up every day to check if it has grown. What happens? You destroy the process. You interrupt the very life you wish to bring forth. That is what many do with their desire. They plant the seed in imagination, but then dig it up with doubt, with worry, with constant questioning. When will it come? How will it happen? Why is it taking so long? My friends, hear this. Your work is not to force the seed to grow. Your work is not to demand the rain or control the sun. Your work is to plant the seed and then rest in the assurance that life itself will do the work. The soil knows how to bring forth. The seed knows how to sprout. The law of life knows how to unfold. Your task is to trust. This is surrender. It is not laziness, nor passivity. It is the deepest activity of faith. It is saying, I have done my part. I have assumed the state. I have acted as though it is done. Now I release it to the greater wisdom of life. Let me ask you, have you ever lain awake at night, worrying about something beyond your control? Did worry bring you peace? Did it bring you answers? Did it speed the process? No. It robbed you of rest, of energy, of joy. Worry is wasted imagination. Fear is faith in the wrong direction. When you surrender, you stop wasting your power. You redirect it into trust. There is a rhythm to life. The tide comes in and the tide goes out. Day turns into night and night into day. You do not force these rhythms. You do not beg the sun to rise. You do not demand the tide to move. You trust the rhythm. You rest in it. You align with it. In the same way, when you surrender, you align yourself with the rhythm of creation. Now let me make this clear. Surrender does not mean indifference. It does not mean you stop desiring or stop caring. No. It means you release the struggle, the grasping, the clutching. It means you no longer beg life to give you what is already yours. It means you no longer chase, but you allow. Consider the bird in the sky. It does not flap its wings in panic to stay aloft. It opens its wings and allows the current of air to carry it. That is surrender. The bird does not control the wind, yet it rides the wind with grace. In the same way, you are not here to control every detail of how your desire comes. You are here to align yourself, to trust, and to ride the current of life. And what is that current? It is the unseen intelligence that shapes all things. It is the invisible hand that arranges circumstances, opens doors, and orchestrates events. When you surrender, you allow this intelligence to work on your behalf. When you clutch, you block it. When you doubt, you resist it. But when you trust, when you let go, you give it room to flow. Ask yourself, do I really believe in the reality I have assumed? If you do, then you must let go of the need to control. For if you truly believed, you would rest. You would walk in peace, knowing it is already done. You would not keep checking the soil. You would not keep measuring the sky. You would rest in the assurance of the harvest. And so, surrender is the highest act of faith. It is the bridge between imagination and manifestation. Without surrender, you are forever trying to do the work of life itself. And let me tell you, life does not need your help to bring forth. It only needs your trust. But how do we surrender? How do we let go when the mind insists on worrying? When the heart trembles with doubt? We practice. We train ourselves to rest in faith. We remind ourselves daily, it is already done. I do not need to chase. I do not need to force. I only need to live in the joy of knowing it is mine. When the thought of fear comes, release it. When the urge to worry rises, replace it with thanksgiving. Speak within yourself. Thank you, for it is already accomplished. Gratitude is the language of surrender. Gratitude is the sign of trust. For no one says thank you unless they believe they have received. Another way to surrender is to release the need for details. Many delay their desires because they demand to know how it will happen, through whom, or by what means. But the how is not your concern. Your concern is the end, the fulfilled desire. The path belongs to life itself. Surrender the details. Rest in the end. Let me give you an image. Imagine a traveler boarding a train. He has a clear destination. He knows where he is going. Once he is on the train, does he run up to the engineer every few minutes and demand to know which track, which switch, which signal? No. He sits, he rests, he trusts the train to carry him. That is surrender. You set your destination in imagination. You board the train of faith, and then you rest. And when you rest, you allow. You create space for the unseen to unfold. You free yourself from anxiety. You open yourself to joy in the present moment instead of postponing joy until the future. My friends, I say to you, release the grip. Let go of the strain. Surrender the what. Trust the unseen hand that carries the stars, that lifts the tide, that unfolds the seed. If it can govern galaxies, can it not bring forth your desire? If it can sustain the rhythm of life itself, can it not sustain you? So let us not be like the anxious gardener who digs up the seed. Let us be like the faithful one, who plants, waters, and then rests, knowing the harvest is inevitable. Let us surrender not in defeat, but in trust, not in weakness, but in strength. The world will call it foolishness. They will say, do something, force it, make it happen. But you know better. You know that surrender is the greatest doing, for it is the alignment with the unseen. It is the declaration of faith. It is the pathway to peace. So tonight, release it. Place your desire in the soil of faith. Cover it with thanksgiving. Water it with joy, and then rest. For life itself will bring the harvest in its own perfect rhythm. That is surrender. That is release. That is trust. And with it, your desire must unfold. 10. Live in joyful expectancy. My friends, we have walked through vision, faith, imagination, surrender, and trust. And now we arrive at the closing step, the crowning jewel of this journey. Step 10. Live in joyful expectancy. What does this mean? It means that once you have assumed the end, once you have released control, once you have planted your seed, you now walk each day in the radiant certainty that it must come forth. You live as though the harvest is already in your hands. You breathe with joy. You walk with confidence. You smile with assurance. This expectancy is not waiting in anxiety, nor wishing in fear. It is knowing. It is the posture of one who has received, even before the evidence appears. Picture a child on the eve of a celebration. They know a gift is waiting for them in the morning. They do not doubt. They do not question. They do not beg. They go to bed in joy. They wake with excitement. They look forward with laughter. That, my friends, is expectancy. That is the way you are called to live when you have assumed the end. Expectation is a magnetic force. It draws to you the very thing you are certain of. It is the fragrance of faith, the sound of assurance, the vibration of fulfillment. When you live in joyful expectancy, you radiate a frequency that life cannot resist. Circumstances bend, doors open, opportunities align, because you are already living in the reality of having received. But let us be clear. Expectancy is not waiting for something distant. It is living in the now with the knowing that it is here. You are not waiting for the blessing. You are carrying it. You are not seeking the answer. You are living from it. You are not hoping it will come. You are rejoicing because it has already arrived in the unseen. Hear me. What you live in expectancy of, you call forth. If you expect disappointment, you create disappointment. If you expect delay, you produce delay. But if you expect joy, if you expect abundance, if you expect love, if you expect the fulfillment of your desire, then that is what will clothe itself in your world. Life always meets you at the level of your expectancy. This is why it is not enough to merely assume. You must assume and then live as one who expects. For assumption without expectancy is a seed without water. Expectancy is the nourishment, the energy, the warmth that draws it forth. Now let me ask you, how do you move when you expect something good? Do you slump in fear, or do you rise with confidence? Do you frown in doubt, or do you smile in joy? Expectancy lifts your whole being. It straightens your back, brightens your eyes, lightens your step. It gives you a song in your heart, a peace in your mind, a glow upon your face. That glow is not foolishness. It is the mark of one who has seen the end and knows it is sure. My friends, the world will call it madness. They will say, why are you rejoicing when nothing has happened yet? And you will answer, it has already happened in the unseen, and therefore it must appear in the seen. That is joyful expectancy. You are not fooled by appearances. You are not deceived by delay. You are not shaken by circumstances. You live in the assurance of fulfillment. And that assurance is your power. Think of the farmer once more. He plants his seed and then waits in joyful expectancy for the harvest. He does not dig it up, nor does he mourn that nothing has appeared overnight. He rises each day, waters his field, tends to the soil, and rejoices because he knows that the unseen is working. He knows that beneath the soil, life is moving, roots are spreading, growth is stirring, and so he lives in peace, for he expects the inevitable harvest. So too must you live, not in desperation but in delight, not in doubt but in joy. Every morning you awaken, give thanks as though the gift is already in your hand. Every evening you rest, smile and rejoice, knowing the harvest is inevitable. This is expectancy. This is the song of faith. Now hear this truth. Joyful expectancy is the atmosphere in which miracles are born. It is the climate of creation. It is the fertile soil in which desires blossom. Without it, the seed struggles. With it, the seed flourishes. Expectancy is the silent agreement between you and life that what you have imagined must come to pass. Let me give you a simple practice. Each day before you rise, close your eyes and feel the thrill of your desire fulfilled. Let it be real to you. Let it tingle in your body. Let it warm your chest. Then rise from your bed and carry that thrill into your day. Walk with it. Breathe with it. Act from it. This is living in expectancy. And when doubts arise, for they will, do not condemn yourself. Simply return to joy. Replace the doubt with thanksgiving. Replace the fear with laughter. Replace the question with the answer. It is already done. Let that be your refrain, your silent song, your unshakable anthem. Some may say, but what if it takes long? What if I see no evidence? My friends, time is not your master. Time is not your enemy. Time is the servant of expectancy. Do not measure by the calendar. Do not judge by the clock. The unseen is not bound by human schedules. Your task is not to measure. Your task is to live in the knowing. For when you live in expectancy, you no longer wait in heaviness. You live in joy. And joy makes the waiting light. So let us close with this truth. Expectancy is the final seal upon the journey. It is the fragrance of fulfillment. It is the song of the soul that knows all is well. Live not as one who begs. Live not as one who doubts. Live as one who rejoices. As one who celebrates. As one who already holds the gift. This is the posture that transforms your world. This is the vibration that bends reality. This is the spirit that calls forth the unseen into the sea. So tonight I call you to rise in joyful expectancy. Let your heart sing. Let your face shine. Let your steps dance. Not because the world has given you proof, but because you have proof within. And that proof, that inner knowing, is greater than any outer evidence. For the unseen is the cause and the seen is the effect. Live in expectancy of the unseen and the seen must follow. Live in joy, and joy must be mirrored. Live in confidence, and confidence must shape your world. And when at last the desire appears, as surely it will, you will not be surprised. You will simply smile and say, of course, I knew it all along. That is the power of expectancy. That is the secret of joy. That is the closing step of this journey. So my friends, plant your seed in imagination, nourish it with faith, surrender it with trust, and then live in joyful expectancy until the harvest comes. And it must come. It cannot fail, for life itself is faithful, and what you have believed with joy must unfold before your very eyes. Go forth then, not in waiting, but in celebration, not in fear, but in laughter, not in doubt, but in radiant expectancy. And as you do, you will see the unseen take form, the invisible made visible, the desire clothed in reality. That is the final step. That is the closing truth. Live in joyful expectancy and watch life unfold in glory.